What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the boundlessly boisterous Dr. Disaster, and the essence of DEI, and the reason that people oppose the concept on the face of it is because it often attempts to elevate people who haven't put in the proper work to places that they haven't earned.
Blimey, how did you get this job?
This often takes shape in hiring practices at big companies like Disney, but this mentality also reveals itself in the stories that these DEI hires write at companies like this, where IronFART is supposedly just the bestest and smartest character ever, even smarter than Tony Stark, or so they claim, even though they don't show any proof of that. In fact, the show shows us the opposite. Riri Williams spends a good chunk of time whining about not having enough funding for her suit, claiming the only reason Tony Stark was so successful was because he had loads of money. But of course, the writers of this turd forgot about this little factoid from the original Iron Man movie.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark.
You didn't say that again.
Well, as a result of the juvenile writing and piss-poor character building, Ironheart, or IronFART as I like to call it, has been absolutely ripped to shreds on the review aggregators. The Metacritic score is still in the toilet where it belongs, but over on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes has suspiciously risen quite a bit. In fact, on Rotten Tomatoes, they have now hit 86%, breaking the threshold needed so that they can officially call the show certified fresh.
Oh, bullshit!
Yeah, it looks like Disney is trying to, essentially, DEI their own show, elevating it to a position where it doesn't belong. I guess the care packages arrived at the homes of these critics who suddenly decided to swoop in and give IronFART a good score. Meanwhile, the Rotten Tomatoes score for the audience has been taking a nosedive, dropping down to 54%. When you couple this with the viewership information that we talked about the other day, where IronFART didn't even chart in the top 10 most streamed shows on Luminate, well, you can see that despite these corporate ass-sniffing morons trying to celebrate IronFART being certified fresh, they can't change the fact that this is a show that has failed miserably.
You're interested in the appearance of the truth.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I've begun uploading some content over onto Rumble as well, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that site too. Also, give me a follow on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. Anyhow, let's talk about this change of the ratings of Ironheart on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't take much to see what Disney's game is with IronFART. This was their score just a few days ago. When I talked about this show last, they had a 73% rating for critics, which made it the second lowest rated MCU show that they have ever put out on Disney Plus, with only Secret Invasion being worse, coming in at a putrid 53%. It was just below the likes of She-Hulk, which sits at 79%. But now the critics have rescued Disney, changing their minds apparently at the last minute and elevating it to 86%. We have seen shenanigans on Rotten Tomatoes with this show already on the audience scores, where the low-ass number that it started off with was raised as they erased a bunch of negative scores. The audience scores have dropped significantly though over the past week. I have no doubt that after the last few episodes for the show are released that the number for the audience will go below 50%. But the way that this audience score has diverged from the critic score is just evidence of at least one of two things. Either the critics are completely out of touch with reality and with the audience, which has generally been the case for a decade or so now, or there are shenanigans going on. In truth, it's likely a bit of both. But look at this here. If we dig into these scores, we can see something interesting. The all critics score is 86%. This score includes small-time critics like this person here, Fernanda Camargo, who wrote, "A gripping ending to the MCU's Phase 5, this series has potential to be a turning point for the Marvel original shows." Or, here's another no-name critic that gets included in that number. Brooke Obi writes, "With stunning CGI, a talented cast, and a compelling story that is so Black Girl, and so Chicago, and so full of, well, heart. Ironheart is up there with the best of the Marvel shows." You get the picture. This number here, this all critics score, encompasses reviews like that. But this is what happens when you click on top critics and filter out these lower critics. That number dwindles down to 58%. What this suggests to me is that Disney is recruiting. We all know that the access media has gone out of their way for years to protect the likes of Disney from disgruntled fans who can't stand the direction that these talentless hacks have taken their stories. But in the past year or so, these access media clowns seem to have lost a bit of their nerve. They have been a lot less vociferous in their defense of the likes of Disney. They've started giving out scores like we see from the top critic scores on Ironheart, or look at what they did with Captain America recently. That movie, Brave New World, only got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. There was a time when this absolutely would not have happened. But the times, they are a-changin', and these critics are wisely moving closer to where the audience is. But the reason we have referred to these big-time critics as the access media is because we always knew that they were given early and exclusive access to things that businesses like Disney put out in exchange for favorable reviews. The fact that the top critic scores are so low on recent projects suggests that this arrangement is no longer working on the top critics, but the scores for the all critics on Rotten Tomatoes suggests that the fruit baskets and care packages from Papa Disney have arrived in the mail for these little guys, and maybe some new careers are about to be made. But if you want an idea as to how confident these media types are that the certified fresh rating for this show is genuine, look at this post again on X from the account Film Updates that I showed you earlier. Look at the bottom there. They have locked the replies. I scrolled through all the recent posts from this account, and they never seem to lock replies. They only did it here, and we all know why. Because they know that people would call this shit out because IronFART is about as popular as shit-flavored ice cream. The sudden rise in critic score on this dog crap website does not correspond with any other data that we can see surrounding the show on any other aggregator, and it is clearly just propaganda to make Disney feel better about the crap job that they did. That is the essence of the DEI mentality, making people who didn't earn things feel like they deserve it. And I, for one, cannot stand these greasy scumbags. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of IronFART into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.